call a meeting to order. We are all present. So, item 2 is the invocation. The invocation this evening is to be given by Terry O'Toole with the Chisholm Trail Cowboy Church. Terry, thank you for being here.
My pleasure, sir. Let me take just 1 minute to thank y'all for your service to the community. Without y'all, that would be really, really difficult for anybody to get anything done, so we appreciate y'all. Let's pray. Father, we do thank you for this body here, dear Lord, the people that's willing to step forward and lead the country, lead the cities and the towns, dear Lord. Without them, we'd just have chaos. And Lord, we know that you ordained government, and we just thank you for that. Father, we just ask you to bless this body tonight as whatever decisions they make. Let it be good, dear Lord, and let it stand, and let it be what you would want it to be for this community. Father, we give you glory and praise and everything that you do for us, and we just appreciate them. In Jesus' precious name we ask. Amen.
Thank you. Carolyn, would you lead us in the flag salute, please?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item 4, consider approval of minutes of the special commission meeting of May 2nd, 2017, and the regular commission meeting of May 16, 2017.
Motion to approve. Second.
Motion by Ron, second by Jonathan. Please cast your vote. Motion carries 7-0. Item 5, awards, presentations, proclamations, and organizational business. Item 5.1, present the pet available for adoption at the city animal shelter.
Ready to go.
Need a turn signal.
Yeah. Hi everyone, I'm Charlotte Ringwald, and with Enid Animal Control. This is my buddy Agatha. Agatha is a 5-year-old border collie lab mix. She's female and she's looking for a new home. So come visit us and visit Agatha in Pen 29. And it really helps when everyone shares our pictures and our posts on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. So please follow us. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Item 5.2. We have an employee appreciation presentation by Gerald. Gerald?
Mayor and Commissioners, City Manager Gilbert has asked me to help in the process. Chief Jackson, you want to join us as well? And Deputy Chief Corbin Baker, please, all eyes on you right now. Yeah, front and center, please. Congratulations. Thank you for being here this evening.
Thank you.
Corbin, City Manager has asked me to help produce a letter with the assistance of Joe Jackson. So we have this letter of commendation for you that we'd like to read at this time. Mr. Corbin Baker, Deputy Chief for the Enid Fire Department, has been awarded the Court-Appointed Special Advocate of the Year for 2016. Congratulations. Corbin Baker received the award recently during a meeting of Garfield County Child Advocacy Council. CASAs are the voices for children involved in cases of abuse or neglect. Garfield County Child Center Director Carol Wade complimented Baker on his unwavering commitment to be involved in cases assigned to CASAs. Corbin Baker began serving the city of Enid on November 1st, 1987. Baker has served the city of Enid for nearly 30 years as a firefighter, a driver, as lieutenant, and as captain, as a training officer, and is presently serving as deputy chief on B shift. Corbin has served on the Fire Civil Service Commission as well. Chief Joe Jackson said, he is a valuable asset to the department and is always enthusiastic in all tasks and assignments he takes on. Corbin is an excellent instructor and possesses much appreciated leadership skills, and Chief Jackson added this, he plays a mean set of drums also. Corbin's devotion to duty in both his personal and professional life reflects the highest standards expected of a City of Enid employee. Therefore, with great honor to present this letter of commendation to Deputy Chief, Mr. Corbin Baker. Congratulations.
Chief may want to say a few. Okay. I just want to say a few words. Steve does a great job writing that up, but what all that meant was that Corbin Baker has dedicated a lot of his life to the City of Enid, and not just the City of Enid and the fire department, but the community. And that is reflected in your service as a CASA volunteer, doing that and being recognized as CASA Volunteer of the Year. So I appreciate that. Chief, do you have a few words before Corbin regales us with his wisdom?
I just want to say Corbin does everything for the fire department and every activity he does with a lot of enthusiasm. He's been a great employee, a great friend for over 30 years, or right at 30 years. And like Gerald said, he's not only an asset to the fire department, but as the community as well. I'm proud of him. Good job.
Thank you very much, Chief. I'd like to say I appreciate this recognition very much. But what it does is it reminds me of the children. There are way more abused and neglected children in foster care than there are CASAs to watch over. Judge Newby is the jurist responsible for watching over these kids, managing their cases, and he needs help. I can tell you that the training is very professional, very effective. The time commitment is not great, and the reward you can't measure. So call Garfield County Child Advocacy Council at 242-1153 if you're interested. We need more CASAs. Thank you all very much for this recognition. I really appreciate it.
Well,
thank you.
Signal when it's done. Got it? Okay. Very good. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Okay. Mayor's Commissioners, that's all the presentations for the evening. Thank you.
Item 5.3, consider appointments to the Library Board, Golf Advisory Board, Enid Joint Recreation Triad, and the Vance Development.
Yes, Mayor and Commissioners, let me pull my screen up, but Library Board is the first one that we have for you tonight. There's 3 vacancies to be filled. We have 2 incumbents to the board, Ms. Christina Donaldson and Ms. Kinkini Aaron. There is 1 vacancy due to the resignation of Mrs. Tracy Layton, and Mrs. Donaldson is term limited. So we've also received applications from Ms. Megan Conrady, Mr. Merlin Haynes, Ms. Susie Mybergen, Ms. Carolyn Poplin, and Mr. Keith Reynolds. So let's see. 2 successful applicants will serve on the board until May 2021. Will fill an unexpired term. So before we get to that, let's see who is here who would like to come up and speak, starting with Ms. Kinkini Aaron, who is an incumbent to the board, eligible to be reappointed, and seeks reappointment.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and Commissioners. My name is Kinkini Aaron, and I'm an incumbent. I've been on the library board for about 5 months now, and I've really enjoyed it, and it's been a very good fit. As a former employee of the library, I know the ins and outs of the workings of it, and Jenny, who's the director, and I share a really good rapport, and I think I would love to continue if you should give me the opportunity. That's all. Thank you.
Ms. Megan Conrady.
Hi. My family and I have used the library for as long as we've lived here, about 15 years. It's one of my favorite places, actually. it would be an honor to serve on the board to help to bring what the library offers to the community. I feel like it is a huge part of the community, and my children and I utilize it very much, and I would love to serve on the board. Thank you.
Mr. Merlin Haynes.
It'll be kind of a copycat of Ms. Conrady here. Both of my sons volunteer at the library every summer in the program, and I would feel like I'd like to give back to it. I enjoy the library and feel that I would serve the board good. Thank you.
Ms. Susie Mybergen.
If I'd known they were going to ask me to speak, I probably wouldn't have said I'd done this. But I would love to reminisce a little bit, which explains my love for the library. I was a little girl in the early 40s, the hot summer days during the war. There was absolutely nothing to do. You couldn't go swimming because there was a polio scare. Couldn't go to the movies for the same reason. But we had our library, our old library, our beautiful old library that was torn down. I don't think my mother knew where the library was, but I had a dear friend's mother, Nadine Allen, that is on the wall as you go into our library. She's one of the ones that got our current one built. And she would take my friend Ann and me to the library. 8 years old, 9 years old, 10 years old. We were allowed to pick out 6 books. It took us 2 or 3 hours to decide which 6 books. And then we would go home to her house, unair conditioned, of course, but her mother would fix us a big pitcher of lemonade, and that's how we spent the summer. That's what got us through the summers. I still love our library, but of course now we have a beautiful, well-run, absolute wonderful place in the center of our very pretty downtown. And I'm a great user of the library, and I'm telling you that if they don't have the book, they have a staff that will find it for you. So, thank you.
Ms. Carolyn Poplin.
Good evening. I've lived in Enid for 65 years. I was born in Stillwater, and we moved here when I was 3, and I've lived here for 65 years. And when I was very young, the library played a large part in my life because my mother was a great believer in keeping me and my sister busy during the summer. And there was a reading program that the elementary school we were attending had going, and if we read so many books, we got a certificate indicating completion of this program. And so the library has impinged greatly on my life for a long time. And I think it's a very fine place and would like to be involved in it. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Keith Reynolds.
Thank you, Commissioners, for considering the application. You know, I don't have a great, background like they do. I was a trucker, and I'd go get the books on CDs, and they would keep me bored while I drive through Illinois and Missouri. I mean, not bored. Like, okay, some of them were boring. But the drive was boring, the book was boring. But, yeah, I love the library, and I would love to get involved. I just retired. At 62. I'm on Social Security, and my wife wants me out of the house more. And I work at Walmart. I took a Walmart job, and I drive the Saint Mobile, and it seemed like I had time for something else. And the ads on the radio, saying they need somebody for the city board. I thought I'd sign up, and I didn't know there were going to be so many qualified people here. 'Cause I don't know if I'm terribly qualified, but I do love the library and I like reading, and I worked a little bit in the prison here, Garfield County Jail, and I was having trouble, as every jailer does. You're outnumbered like 240 to 4 at nights. And I started bringing in paperback books for the prisoners. You're allowed to do that, and the library cart would never go around enough, but I knew that certain guys like certain authors, and so I'd go to the thrift shops and I'd buy a book for 25 cents at Park Avenue, and when I'd go in at night to clean, I would if the books disappeared off my cleaning cart, I didn't mind it that much. But these guys, the more they read, the better vocabulary they had when they saw me. And I really enjoyed putting knowledge in the hands of people. It changes people. And I guess I want to do the same thing. That's all. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, we have 6 applicants. You need to vote for 3. Even though it says 2 on there, please vote for 3.
One's an unexpired term that only goes to 2019, right?
Yes.
And the other 2 will go to 2020. So how do we determine which is which?
Don't know if we have that noted.
Whoever gets the least votes gets the partial term.
Okay, it's good, it's fair. Yep.
That work?
There's 3.
Okay. And while you guys are voting, is Miss Christina Donaldson, I know she's term limited, but if she was here, I was going to thank her for her service.
3?
Yes, vote for 3, please.
You tabulate.
All right, the Golf Advisory Board, we have 2 vacancies to be filled on the Golf Advisory Board. Mr. John Parton and Mr. Joe Jackson are incumbents. Mr. Jackson is term limited. Mr. Parton seeks reappointment. We've also received 2 other applications from Mr. Bruce Lack and Mr. Taylor Venus, and all the applicants will serve until March of 2020. Mr. John Parton, I think I saw you come in.
Well, having been on the advisory board for a couple of years now and gone through the transition of the advisory board of losing their pro and going through and changing the golf course, I think it's important that we keep it up. Municipal golf course is always very difficult to run. I don't know of any that are self-sustaining, and I know that's the goal of the city council, but we work toward that. But it will be a very difficult road, and I feel that I could add to the advisory board in that position and help the golf course continue its operations.
Mr. Bruce Lack. Mr. Bruce Lack here?
See.
And Mr. Taylor Venus?
Mr. Mayor and Commissioners, I hope you're all having a good evening. I haven't lived in Enid long, but I grew up in Ponca City. Going to Lou Wentz, the city-run golf course, is what I did pretty much all summer, a few times a week. And I understand the asset and the value a city-ran golf course can give to a community. And I would love to just be able to serve and hopefully help make it profitable so that we, as a city, do not have to use as much taxpayer funds to maintain it and keep it open. Thank you.
All right, you need to vote for two people to fill those vacancies, please. We'll Go ahead and move on to the Enid Joint Recreation Triad, where we need to fill one vacancy. Ms. Laren Davis is the incumbent, doesn't seek reappointment. Application has been received from Mr. Jeff Clark. Is Mr. Jeff Clark here? Come on up, sir.
Good evening, city leaders. Thank you for the opportunity this evening. I grew up in Enid, 21 years. I was around EGRT baseball for a very long time. I joined the Air Force and served 12 years. I'm currently retiring at the end of this month. I'm also currently the baseball director for EGRT currently. I've seen the impact that we can have on today's youth. We've implemented a lot of new changes and a lot of exciting things this year. I want to continue those on, both in baseball as well as in the other sports. I've served on several boards, several councils within my Air Force career as a vice president, as a secretary, and even as a safety officer. I want to have a bigger impact on the EGRT. I don't want to focus just on baseball. I would like to have a bigger reach toward today's youth. I have a lot of excited friends that are excited about what we did in baseball this year and what we're going to do in baseball next year. And I really would like to bring those things over to football and softball and the other summer sports that we do. So I appreciate your consideration. I definitely appreciate your time, and thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mayor, or Gerald, I have one question about this. Since he is working as an employee for EJRT, if under the EJRT charter, I'm not sure a board member can be an employee of the organization. I think that's something that we might have to look at.
Commissioner, we can look at it. I know EGRT has multiple sub-boards. I'm not aware of any prohibition against one of those members serving on the EGRT board. We can certainly look into that if you.
I'm just saying I would hate to appoint somebody and find out that they were not eligible to serve.
Mayor, Commissioners, I would make the recommendations that it would look, it may not be improper, but it may look improper because he could direct where things might go. So just as a recommendation, I would not appoint him.
And if that's the case, I know that the city appoints folks to EGRT, but there are other entities that appoint to EGRT as well. So that, but we will, thank you for the advice. Let's see, next up, Mr. Gary Cole.
Mayor, Commissioners, ma'am, one of the great aspects of this community is the recreation program that it's had over the years. Our children participated in it. They're all out of the nest. And it would be a great honor for me to be able to participate in that board. Thank you.
Mr. Merle Cordray.
Good evening, respected commissioners. I just wanted, or councilman, I just wanted to make sure, I grew up in Enid as well, at Enid Product as well, graduated from Enid High School, and very proud of that. I feel like I got a lot out of the community as well, and just kind of an opportunity to give back as well. It's certainly, I have officiating experience, I have coaching experience, I've got a lot of sports background, but I've got 3, soon to be 4 kids in it as well. So just looking to give back a little bit if the opportunity arises. If not, I definitely appreciate your time.
3 or 4 kids in it, I guess you got skin in the game, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Mr. William Stitsworth.
See Bill here.
We need to fill 1 vacancy, commissioners.
Before we go to the Vance Development Authority, I will read the 3 persons that were elected for the library board. 2 people received 6 votes. They are Susie Mybergen and Keith Reynolds. And 1 person has 5 votes, Kinkini Aaron. So those will be the 3. Congratulations. Again, Susie Mybergen, Keith Reynolds, and Kinkini. Did I say that right?
Kinkini.
Kinkini? Okay. Next to Shuey, that's hard to pronounce. Those will be the three for the library board. The votes were as follows. We'll start with Susie Mybergen, Ron Jansen, Derwin Norwood, Benny Zell, Tammy Wilson, George Panconen, and Bill Shuey. The other 6 votes were for Keith Reynolds, Jansen, Norwood, Ezell, Waddell, Wilson, and Panconen. For Kinkini, 5 votes, Jansen, Ezell, Waddell, Panconen, and Shuey. I think you need that back. Have we got others?
Yes, we've got.
Okay. The Golf Advisory Board, receiving 7 votes, was John Parton. Receiving 5 votes was Taylor Venus. Those voting, and there were 2 vacancies, those voting for John Parton, Jansen, Norwood, Ezell, Waddell, Wilson, Panconen, Shuey. For Taylor Venus, Ezell, Waddell, Wilson, Panconen, Shuey. John, Taylor, congratulations. The Enid Joint Triad, 4 votes were the most votes, and that was for Merle Ordray. And those voting for Jeff Clark were Wilson. Voting for Gary Cole, Jansen, and Shuey. For Ordray, Norwood, Ezell, Waddell, and Panconen. Receiving 4 votes. Merle, congratulations. Is that it?
All right, we need to make appointments, 3 appointments to the Advanced Development Authority. 1 vacancy to be filled by a retired member. The incumbent wishes to serve. He's the only one that applied. For the Air Force Association, Mr. Sean Cummings applied. He's the only applicant for the Air Force Association. So 1 vacancy, an at-large member. Mr. Bruce Jackson's the incumbent, seeks reappointment. Mr. Gary Cole and Ms. Carolyn Poplin also wish to be considered. Is Mr. Bruce Jackson here? Mr. Cole, do you wish to speak on VDA?
Thanks, sir. Mayor, Commissioners, ma'am. Vance Air Force Base has been here since 1941. Not only does it contribute to our nation's defense, it contributes employment and sales tax dollars to this community. We need to do everything humanly possible to keep it here and to keep it vibrant. I would be thrilled to death to serve on that board. Thank you.
Ms. Carolyn Poplin?
I retired at 62, and I had worked 39 years for the major contractor at Vance Air Force Base. I am very passionate about Vance, what it means to this community, what it means to this country. And whether I am appointed to the board or not, this board needs to continue to do the good work it is doing to keep Vance here in Enid, Oklahoma, and to keep it a viable part of the United States. Thank you.
All right, Mayor and Commissioners, you need to vote for 1 of the 3 people for the at-large position.
Do we need to reappoint the other 2 by motion?
Yes.
Who was the retired? Okay. I move to appoint Fig Newton, Sean Cummings.
Second. Motion by Ben and second by Ron. Please cast your vote. Motion carries 7-0.
she'll collect the votes and.
Why don't we do number 4? Consider appointments of city commissioners to various boards and commissions.
Yes.
That is mine, but I don't have it pulled up. Go ahead.
There are several boards that commissioners are appointed, and those boards have recently, because of the election and the resignation and appointment of commissioners, need to be updated. There are suggestions by the mayor here on Long-Term Care Authority appointing Commissioner Derwin Norwood, on the Park Board appointing Commissioner Tammy Wilson, and on the Walk of Fame Committee appointing Commissioner Derwin Norwood. And next time when we come back, we'll have special sales tax and several other boards as well. But those are the 3 appointments for tonight for the commission to consider for the commissioner representative to those boards.
Motion to approve that recommendation.
Second. Motion by Ron, second by George. Further discussion? Please cast your vote.
Isn't that just an appointment? I said, isn't that just an appointment?
I think what we've traditionally done is we've ratified it through
city commission
based on the advice of council and what we've done previously. Past practice.
Thanks for voting for yourself, Derwin. Motion carries.
Wrong with that.
7-0. Put you to work.
Sir.
Okay. I'm going to go back to Advanced Development Authority. There were 7 votes. Bruce Jackson has 4. Carolyn Poplin has 3. I will read who voted for whom. Bruce Jackson, Jansen, Waddell, Pankinen, and Shuey. For Poplin, Norwood, Ezell, and Wilson. Bruce Jackson will be the new member at large. Item 6, hearings. Item 6.1, conduct a hearing to close all utility easements lying in the east 10 feet at the north 124.71 feet of Lot 6, Block 13, Willow West, 4th Edition, and the west 10 feet at the north 124.71 feet of Lot 1, Block 11, Willow West, 4th Edition. Robert.
Thank you, Mayor, Commissioners, City Manager. This is a public hearing to take comments on the application for closing of a utility easement that is between Block 1 and Block 13 of Willow West, 4th Edition, as shown on the map up here. The easement was installed anticipating the need for utilities. However, with the development subdivision, no utilities have been extended or anticipated needed in the easement. The property owner making the application owns lots on both sides and is requesting to close the easements or to close the easements. Thereby, they can make a use of both lots together. It went to the Planning Commission, and they supported the closing. And it's a public hearing for any public comment.
Robert, did you say this is a hearing?
Yes, this is a hearing.
Listed as a hearing?
Yes, 6.1 is the hearing, conduct a hearing to close the utility. There is another item for actual passing the ordinance.
Item 8.2 will be to pass it, to vote on it, Ron.
Okay, I just didn't see hearing in the description.
Any questions, comments?
Thank you.
Thank you, Robert. Item 7, community development. There are none. Item 8, administration. 8.1, consider an ordinance closing to the public a portion of alley in Block 9, Duthitt's 3rd Edition, a portion of West York Avenue, all of alley in Block 3, Duthitt Whittingham Edition, a portion of West Indiana Avenue, all of alley in Block 4, Duthitt Whittingham Edition, and a portion of Madison Street, all lying in the northwest quarter of Section 18, Township 22, Range 6 West of the Indian Meridian, Garfield County, Oklahoma, to consolidate the Enid High campus after application from the school board, providing for repealer, savings clause, and severability. Robert?
Thank you, Mayor.
Second.
Motion by Ben, second by Ron. Further discussion? Please cast your vote. Motion carries 7-0. Item 8.2, consider an ordinance closing all utility easements lying in the east end feet of the north 124.71 feet of Lot 6, Block 13, Willow West, 4th Edition, and the west 10 feet of the north 124.71 feet of Lot 1, Block 11, Willow West, 4th Edition.
Motion to approve.
Motion by George.
Second.
Second by Johnston. Further discussion? Please cast your vote. Motion carries 7-0. Item 8.3, consider a resolution amending the 2016-2017 airport fund budget by appropriating additional funds in the amount of $105,000 to increase the 2016-2017 appropriated amounts for the airport department.
Good evening. This is a resolution amending our current budget for some upcoming projects at the airport. And this is a companion to items 9.1, 9.2, and 9.3.
Move to approve.
Motion by Ben to approve.
Second.
Second by George. Further discussion? Please cast your vote. Motion carries 7-0. Item 8.4, execute recreational trails program project grant agreement between the City of Enid and the State of Oklahoma Tourism and Recreation Department for trailhead construction at Don Haskins Park in the amount of $160,000.
Move to approve.
Motion by Ben.
Second.
Second by Ron. Further discussion? Please cast your vote. Motion carries 7-0. Item 9, consent items.
Move to approve.
Motion by Ben to approve.
Second.
Second by George. Please cast your vote. Motion carries 7-0. Item 10, we will now recess to convene as the Enid Municipal Authority. Item 11, all of the trustees of the Enid Municipal Authority are in attendance at the regular meeting. Item 12, the Enid Municipal Authority regular meeting is now in session. Item 12.1, approval of claims in the amount of $281,148.87.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Jonathan. Second by Tammy. Please cast your vote. Motion carries 7-0. Item 13, we'll now adjourn to convene as the Enid Economic Development Authority. Item 14, all of the trustees of the Enid Economic Development Authority are in attendance at the regular meeting. Item 15, the Enid Economic Development Authority regular meeting is now in session. Item 15.1, approval of claims in the amount of $44,555.67. Motion by George.
Second.
Second by Derwin. Okay. Please cast your vote. Motion carries 7-0. Item 16 will now adjourn to convene as the Enid Public Transportation Authority. Item 17, all of the trustees of the Enid Public Transportation Authority are in attendance at the regular meeting. Item 18, the Enid Public Transportation Authority regular meeting is now in session. Item 18.1, consider a resolution authorizing the chairman of the Enid Public Transportation Authority or his delegate to execute an agreement between the Oklahoma Department of Transportation Transit Programs Division and the Enid Public Transportation Authority for a grant under 49 USC Section 5339B, Bus and Bus Facilities Discretionary Grant Program.
Move to approve.
Motion by Tammy,
Second.
second by Jonathan. Please cast your vote. Motion carries 7-0. Item 18.2, approval of claims in the amount of $3,930.43.
Move to approve.
Motion by Tammy, second by George. Please cast your vote. Motion carries 7-0. Item 19 will now adjourn to reconvene as the Enid City Commission. Item 20, public comments. Diane, your name and address, please.
Diane Levesque, 1324 West Oak. And when I put my name on the, well, the list there, it was my intention first to address the business of Vance. There's been some changes since I last made comments about Mike Cooper and the necessity for having such an advocate as he has proven to be. What I've discovered is that, well, it's been brought to my attention that even though our commander-in-chief is of the opinion we need a stronger military, the base closing, the base realignment and closing program does remain in effect, and there is going to be a BRAC round scheduled for some time in 2021 where we'll either have a new president or re-elect the same one. Mike Cooper, I would suggest, might be better employed, and to Vance's and Enid's benefit, to lobby in favor of doing away with BRAC entirely. That way we can all breathe a lot easier. It may do him out of his particular job there, but it would make a lot of military bases breathe a lot easier, and I think that is called for. The recent board appointments also, yes, I know it's there. The recent board appointments dovetails nicely into what I was just saying about Vance, but also with regards to Main Street Enid. You know, I've been a critic of that, and I want to point out that with all the discussion in the study session about after-school programs and summer programs, you've always had a jewel in downtown that even Main Street Enid is not considering, and hasn't considered at least for this study session, and that is the public library. And this commission has a track record of cutting public library hours and staff. There's also the matter of Booker T. Washington, which I propose very respectfully that the Enid Public Library would do well to do an outreach to Booker T. I've been there on the premises a number of times. I've seen their activities. But the bottom line with science and coding and manual skills all boils down to literacy, basic literacy, and that includes, like I said, coding. As a speaker of hexadecimal fluently, also assembly language, JavaScript, you need to have your basic sentence structure and know it very well, whether you're looking at numbers or you're looking at words or if you're looking at mnemonics. That is another computer term used in assembly language, mnemonics. Those have a hexadecimal equivalent, which are numbers, so you need to be number literate. I would recommend highly that Booker T and the public library work together and perhaps pool resources to where you're extending hours, because one thing Main Street Enid doesn't do that the public library does is attract traffic on a daily basis, and that's both parents and kids. All Main Street Enid does is special events, and what, First Friday? Give me a break. We're looking for daily commercial traffic. Thank you.
Thank you. Item 21, we're now adjourned.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion by Ron.
Second.
Second by Joel. Please cast your vote. Carries 7-0. We are adjourned.
Thank you for joining us for the Enid City Commission meeting. If you have any questions or comments, visit our website at enid.org.